Part 2 of The Cry Near the River. To her, Amarachi was not just a blessing, but she was her salvation. But the whispers could not end. The village elders began to murmur, convinced that a woman without a husband should not be raising a child alone. The pressure mounted, and soon Adanna would face challenges she never thought possible. But her love for Amarachi was unyielding, a bond so strong that it would take more than rumors to break. And still, Adanna prayed. She prayed for strength, prayed for guidance. No matter how it looked, who would accept her and Amarachi? Little did she know her prayers were soon to be answered, but not in the way she had imagined. Adanna poured every ounce of love she had into Amarachi. The baby grew in her arms, cradled in warmth and tenderness that knew no bounds. Each day began with a soft hum of lullabies as Adanna would birth her carefully, her hands gentle and loving. Amarachi's laughter filled their small compound like a melody, her tiny hands reaching for Adanna's face, giggling as she tried to grab her nose. It was as if all the pain Adanna had endured melted away in the light of Amarachi's smile. Neighbors watched with whispers and mockery, accusing Adanna of shame and secrets. She hid her pregnancy and now parades the child as if it was found by the river. They will sneer. Even our own father, his face hardened with disdain, will spit words that could cut deep. You have brought disgrace upon this family, a child out of nowhere, and you expect me to accept this abomination? No, never, not in my house. I will disown you. He bellowed more times than Adanna could count. But Adanna held onto Amarachi tighter. No amount of shame or threat could separate her from the baby she now called her own. Amarachi became her world, her reason to breathe, to wake, to fight. She would sit outside a small room. Amarachi nestled against her chest, playing with her fingers and cooing softly. The baby never fell asleep in anyone's hands but hers, not even her mother's. It was as if Amarachi found her entire world resting in Adanna's embrace. And blessings began to flow. It was small at first, a neighbor dropping off some yam and vegetables for no apparent reason. A woman from the market gifting her with fresh fish without charge. Adanna was puzzled but grateful, never questioning the source of these blessings. Over time, it grew. People would pass by her home and drop coins, whispering that the baby brought good fortune. Her father, still bitter and unyielding, dismissed it as all it may coincidence. But Adanna knew it was more. It wasn't just a mere coincidence. As Amarachi turned one, Adanna had a dream. She saw herself walking down the familiar market path. Amarachi balanced her hip. The hair was griefs, and the sun shone brightly. A large black SUV rolled to a stop beside her, its windows tinted. When the door opened, a man stepped out, tall, broad-shouldered, and dressed in a suit that spoke of wealth. His eyes, sharp and attentive, softened as they fell upon Amarachi. "That is my daughter," he said firmly, his voice like velvet, stretching his hands towards Amarachi. Adanna stepped back instinctively, clutching her child to her chest, but the man's gaze never wavered. "I have been searching for her," he added, his eyes misting with emotions. Adanna woke up with a start, her heart pounding, bits of sweat glistening on her forehead. She turned to Amarachi, who was still sound asleep. Her tiny lips curled in a smile. The dream lingered like a whisper in her ears, unsettling yet hopeful. The next morning, She recounted a dream to her mother, her voice trembling with uncertainty. Her mother listened intently, her hands pausing midway as she washed some vegetables. Dreams? Dreams are messengers, Adanna, she said, slowly rinsing her hands. And do you know what? Sometimes they speak of things yet to come. Sometimes there are warnings. So you should choose one out of your struggles. Adanna shook her head. But what does it mean? A man claiming Amarachi is his daughter? I found her near the stream, Mama. But how can that even be? How can that even be possible? I don't even understand. What does that dream even mean, Mama? Her mother sat her down, her eyes distant as if searching the past. Look, my daughter, there is a proverb, she began slowly, her voice deepening with meaning. When the river brings you a child, its source is not always from the shallow ends. She paused, her eyes locking with Adanna's. Perhaps you are yet to know the true story of this child, her real true story. Her words lingered like an unfinished sentence, weaving confusion and wonder into Adanna's heart. Her health, Amarachi, she held her closer, watching her tiny hands grip her thumb with unyielding trust. Adanna knew her mother's words were not mere ramblings. There was a hidden truth yet to unfold. The villagers continued to mock and scorn, but Adanna's love for Amarachi only grew deeper. With each passing day, she nurtured her baby, pouring her soul into caring for her. Amarachi's smile was her strength, her tiny laugh her hope, and deep within her heart, Adanna knew that one day the mystery of the dream and the stream will be revealed. And it means who is the man in the dream, and that secret does the river hold. What is the secret? Adanna's life took on a new rhythm, one that was filled with both pain and resilience. Her father's voice would thunder through the house with insults and curses, calling her names that cut through her soul. A disgrace, a spirit child. You can't even get a man, and yet the only thing you could bring is a ghost baby into my house? He would spit out with venom, his face twisted with anger. But Adanna, with tears in her eyes and strength in her heart, will hold little Amarachi close, whispering prayers of protection over her tiny head every night. The constant tension at home pushed Adanna to make a choice. She moved out of her father's house and into a small fashion shop near the village junction. It wasn't much, just a tiny space with a worn-out mattress, her sewing machine, and some fabrics. But it was a home. Every night, she would cradle Amarachi in her arms, thanking God for the strength to endure, the strength of love, and the strength to hope. Despite the harsh words and ridicule, something miraculously began to happen. Adanna would take Amarachi everywhere she went, to the church, to the market, even to the shop. Strangers would smile warmly at the child, their hands stretching out with gifts, bags of rice, fruits, and even money. This is an angel, they will say, pressing their hands to Amarachi's cheek. This child is so special. I wish she was mine. Please take good care of her. She is so, so beautiful. A friend will say. Sometimes some customers will say. The love for Amarachi was even more evident at Adanna's sewing shop. People from not just the village, but neighboring communities began flocking to her, bringing fabrics and lining up patiently for their turn. Some even pleaded for her to take their measurements, offering whatever amount she charged without hesitation. They will leave extra money for Amarachi and will play and smile with her, some whispering blessings upon the child before they left. Adanna's shop blossomed. The stacks of clothes grew taller and taller, and soon she had enough work to last months, and she moved to a bigger shop. People spoke of Adanna's talent, her kindness, and the miraculous child that seemed to bless her hands. They came from far and wide, some even from cities during holidays just to have their clothes made by Adanna's beautiful shop. Her shop became the most popular in the village and beyond, a beacon of prosperity that could not be ignored. Her father, hearing of her success, grew bitter and angry, but Adanna pressed on, unshaken. One day, as Adanna walked through the market with Amarachi strapped at her back, a sleek black SUV pulled up beside her. The window rolled down to reveal a man, tall, handsome, and dressed in elegance. His eyes fell for Amarachi's face, and he smiled warmly, pulling out a bundle of money and handing it to Adanna. For the beautiful baby, of course, he said gently. Adanna thanked him, her eyes full of gratitude, and the man did not drive away. His gaze lingered on her, as if it was captivated. I'm Emeka, he introduced himself. May I know your name? Adanna, she replied cautiously. Emeka returned often, visiting a shop and bringing gifts for Amarachi, clothes, toys, and beautiful fabrics. He would sit outside a shop, watching her sew, admiring her patience and strength. Soon he began to ask for her hand in marriage, but each time Adanna shook her head. My baby is enough for me. I don't need a man, she would say gently. But Emeka was persistent. Weeks turned to months, and he would still come, each time professing his love and promising to care for Amarachi like his own. He assured her of his love, his sincerity, and his intentions. Little did she know that Emeka was one of the wealthiest men in Abuja. His simplicity marks his wealth, and his kindness overshowers its power. One evening, Adanna finally said yes to Emeka. One evening, Adanna finally said yes. The village was thrown into shock. People whispered and gossiped, but Adanna paid them no mind. Emeka brought her to Abuja, to a mansion so grand to took her breath away. Marble floors, towering ceilings, chandeliers that glittered like diamonds. Amarachi ran through the halls, her tiny hands brushing the walls, her giggles echoing in the space. Adanna could hardly believe it. This was her new life now. When she returned to the village to inform her parents of her marriage, the shock was evident. Her father, broken and regretful, fell to his knees, clutching her hands and begging for forgiveness. Adanna wept, her heart soft with compassion, and forgave him. The villagers watched with mouths agape as she stepped back into the SUV with her husband and daughter, the words lingering on everyone's lips. Oh, wow, I can't believe this. Delay is not denial. Their traditional wedding was grand, the celebration spilling into the streets of Abuja. Adanna's mother wept tears of joy as she saw her daughter in her wedding gown, Amarachi holding tiny flowers in her chubby hands as she waddled down the aisle. Adanna's tears flowed freely as she walked, her heart full of gratitude and joy. The blessings she had prayed for were finally hers. Their marriage was blissful, full of love and laughter. Emeka adored Amarachi, treating her like his own, showering her with love and protection. When Adanna became pregnant, She would sit in their large bedroom, her hands resting on her growing belly, and tell Emeka the full story of how she found Amarachi by the stream. Emeka listened with tears streaming down his face, holding her hands and promising to love them both forever. When their second child was born, a baby girl with Amarachi's eyes, Adanna's joy was complete. Little Amarachi will cradle her baby sister, her small hands gentle and loving. Their home was a sanctuary of love, a beacon of hope that all things are possible with faith. And so, Adanna's story became a testament in the village and beyond. Her life was a proof that no matter how dark the night, the morning will come, bringing with the blessings beyond measure. Thank you for listening to this story. Thank you for watching. Please do well, lovelies, to subscribe, share, and also comment. Thank you, and God bless you.